Hey everyone, just making sure my camera will actually stay here and not crash down like it just did in the middle of our video. Welcome on, Jessie Mundell here. We are live, really excited for this session today. As I was planning it out, it was just taking me back to the days when I was coaching full-time, in-person fitness clients all day, every day, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Very different life now, but those were some of my absolute favorite days and where I learned the most, hands down, about coaching moms. Just getting so much access to so many different bodies, practicing my coaching skills. So that's what we're going to talk about today. 3 tips for coaching mom and baby fitness classes successfully, safely, appropriately. So these classes were my favorite. Coached them for years in gym settings, and they were also the hardest classes. Probably the hardest sessions that I had, even though I enjoyed them the most. The amount of work that it required was intense, and the actual time spent coaching was intense as well. Again, they were my absolute favorite. If I was to go back to in-person coaching, this is what I would focus on, actually coaching those early postnatal periods with moms who can bring their babies to classes, because they are incredible. The community that it creates, what it gives back to the moms, I think is so important. So if you can coach this type of class well, I want you to be doing that, because it's such an important service to offer for moms, okay? So if you're new here, just joining in, my name is Jessie Mundell. I am a pre- and postnatal fitness specialist. I coach moms who are trying to conceive, pregnant, postpartum, all different stages, who are all over the world. All my work is done online now, but like I said, coached in person fitness and personal training coaching clients for years and years, a decade. So I want to go through 3 tips that we're going to discuss about specifically coaching mom and baby classes today, because again, that type of environment is difficult and it needs to be done well with strategies and tools to give a good experience to all the different types of people that you are having in those classes. Because what you'll often find is moms who are at different stages postpartum in their postpartum journey. So maybe they are very early on within that, say, 6 to 8 week window, where they're just starting to get back into exercise, maybe just exercising for the first time. Or they're a little bit later postpartum. Maybe they are in the 6 to 9 month postpartum range and getting back to or starting exercise now. So you have all these different bodies, all these different fitness levels, the different levels of strength, different babies who are at all different mobility stages as well, coming into your gym or your classes. And so we have to manage all of these different things. So if you're on live, just say hi, let me know that you are here, if you can hear me okay. And if you have any questions as we're going through, please do let me know. Let's dive right into it. So the first tip I want to give you, use multiple exercise variations or modifications for every exercise that you are offering in class. So this is the way that I used to set up my classes. I would have circuits. We would move through the circuits as a class. We might have 2-3 different circuits per class, but for each different exercise in those circuits, I would always have backup exercises in mind. I would always coach through these other exercises while demonstrating the baseline exercise that would be in that circuit. So here's what I mean. Say in our first circuit, we have a squat station. There's going to actually be 2 or 3 different variations of that squat, of that exercise, for people to choose from. So in our squat station, we might have a body weight band squat to a low box. We might offer a goblet squat, and we might offer a front squat as well. So we have 3 different exercises, all squat based, all at the same station. So when that mom comes to that station, they know that they can either do the bodyweight version with the band, they can do the goblet squat, or they can do the front squat. They are going to pick and choose. You can obviously give them guidance about what you would like them to be doing based upon their fitness level, their strength level, where they are postpartum. So this just makes it so easy to keep basically the exercises the same, but you're just offering different modifications. So say you have the squat station, you have those 3 options. Say you have a row station where you are offering a 2-arm band row. You also have Olympic bars set up in squat racks to be doing an inverted row. And then maybe you also have assisted pull-ups with super bands set up too. So at our row station or our pull station, they know I have these 3 options and I can choose the one that is working best right now on this day for me. And then also you might have a push station, for example. Just to give you another idea of what this might look like, 3 different exercises. You could have a dumbbell floor press, you could have a standing chest press, and you could also have an incline push-up or a push-up from the floor. So just so many different modifications that we can offer for this same basic movement, but the exercises are going to look slightly different. We always want to frame this as we're just modifying it to the body, to the person's needs. No exercise is better than the other. No exercise needs to be done. It's really personal preference and what is working best for someone at that point. Hey, Jenna. Okay, so does that make sense? So every circuit, every exercise is going to have different modifications available for it, especially in the strength portion of the workout that you're doing. Okay, so offer those different modifications for every exercise being done in the program. Tip number 2, this was one of the things that I found to be tricky, but definitely doable, keeping people on the same pace during class. So we don't want people to, say we have 2 or 3 people at one station, 2 people at the next station. We don't want people to be lapping each other through the circuit, especially if you are using minimal equipment or if you're a bit short on equipment, which was kind of always my case when I was coaching these classes. We want people to be mostly on pace at each station in the circuit. So we're all kind of moving together. We're all kind of finishing up at the same time. Some people aren't done 7 minutes before and just hanging around. Although, of course, you could absolutely throw in other exercises for those people. But my preference was to have people finishing up mostly at the same time. So consider the exercises that you are choosing and the reps that you are choosing for that exercise. So a couple things to think about. We don't want to have one exercise that is 20 reps of walking lunges, say 20 reps per side of walking lunges, and then the next station is 5 reps of a heavy push press. That's not just going to match up with the timing very well. Consider this, again, especially if you are short on equipment, if you don't have tons of dumbbell options, you're going to be wanting people to probably be finishing up around the same time. If you need to, again, share equipment or you just want to keep people on the same pace. An option that I like is to use AMRAP, so as many rounds as possible. Say you set up your circuit and you say, we're going to set the timer for 12 minutes. You're going to go through this circuit as many times as you can, and we're all going to be done at 12 minutes. That's a great one to use if your exercises can work for the equipment that you have available, or if you have lots of equipment available to you, and it's not going to be a concern that people are going to need, say, the same weights the whole way through the circuit, and multiple people are going to need those weights. Does that make sense? So the other thing that I would often do, say if we do want to use that example of having those 20 reps of walking lunges paired with a heavier movement, people are going to finish up the heavier movement, of course, with lower reps far faster than they would with those reps that are much higher. So throw in a bodyweight exercise, throw in a mobility exercise, anything to just hold space, to take up a bit of time. You can absolutely do that if you're finding that, just the circuits are not matching up, people are done way faster. Just add a third one into the mix to hold space for you. Okay, so that was tip number 2. And tip number 3, just be super, super prepared. This is not the time to design your workout on the fly. I think if you're a trainer, you've probably been there where you just need to create a workout super fast sometimes, but this isn't the time, because you really do need to be prepared for these sessions, to have all your different modifications, to think about the timing of your exercises, the equipment that you have available to you, and which body is going to need which resistance or loading. Be super prepared. Write the workout down on a whiteboard or a chalkboard. Have it set up so you can keep referring back to it, and also so your clients, the participants, can see the workout as well too, so they don't have to keep asking you for the next exercise or the reps and sets. It's just written down for everyone to be able to see. Another tip that I'll give you: keep the circuits, the actual exercises in your circuits, low. Maybe don't have 5 to 6 exercises in a circuit. I would keep it between 2 and 3 for the most part. It's just going to be way easier for you to manage as a coach. It's going to be easier for you to only need to cue a couple of different exercises in a circuit rather than throwing out a million different cues in a circuit. And it's just going to be easier for you to manage with the equipment and the space and the babies and the kids that might be there too. Hold, carry, do whatever you can for moms who are bringing their kiddos. If they have babies, baby is fussy, baby's not wanting to be put down that day, offer to hold baby. There's many classes where I wore babies in carriers. If you can do whatever you can to help moms, that is going to help them feel so supported, and they're just going to trust you so much and feel like it is easy enough for them to be able to come back, because it's so hard to be able to do things, to be able to go to class, to be able to get to class on time. So if you can make it as easy as possible for them, that is going to be really helpful. Bonus tip number 4 that I just want to mention is manage the expectations that moms are coming into your class with. What I mean by that is, it's always okay if they're late. Always. It's always okay if the class is 60 minutes and they show up 20 minutes late, or maybe they get there and they only have 20 minutes left. It is always okay if baby is fussy, if baby cries the whole way through the class. All of these things are fine. The expectation really is just that they show up and they feel better leaving than they did when they walked in. That's all we want for them. It does not need to be that they complete all the reps and sets or all the exercises. That's not really the point. If they can just get in, move their bodies a little bit, maybe have some conversations if that feels good for them, see people, be able to talk to other moms, get babies to hang out with other babies, and for you to support them in it, for you to say things that help their day. That's really the point. So keep that at the forefront of your mind and just keep communicating those expectations to them, so they feel less stress and less pressure. Okay, so let me see if I can remember those 3 tips and we'll just wrap up here. Okay, number 1, use multiple exercise modifications, so offer different variations of the same basic exercise for each movement that you are putting into your plan. Number 2, try to keep people on the same pace through the circuits as best you can. And then number 3, be extremely prepared for each class. Be flexible, but this is not the time just to be throwing things together. Okay, and number 4, just our bonus, help mom feel supported in whatever way you can. Hey, Maria. Yes, Maria says, finish feeling better when they leave than when they arrive. Yeah, love this. Me too. I think that if you can do that, gosh, you'll have a strong client relationship. Absolutely. All right, friends, I think that is everything for today. Any more questions while I'm here? Absolutely my favorite sessions to coach. I would be sweating my butt off by the time I finish teaching these sessions, though, just because it requires a lot of you as a coach. I think you need to be a strong coach to be able to coach these sessions well and have a really strong education in postnatal fitness. Just a reminder, the Postnatal Fitness Specialist Academy is going to be reopening for registration Tuesday, October 10th. We push it back one day. It's not going to be the 9th anymore just because that is Thanksgiving for us Canadians. totally forgot. So we're going to reopen it on the 10th. If you're on the wait list, you're going to have all the details before that, and you're going to be getting a discounted link for registration. So all the details are at prepostnatalfitness.com. I will link it below. If you're interested in these topics, that is where you can go to learn so much more. We do a really deep dive into postnatal fitness, and you'll come away with lots of tools under your belt. All right, I think that's everything. I will be back on later this week for more live sessions, so I will see you then.